I'm back with another review. Okay, this time it is going to be the Rimmel Lasting Finish 25-hour breathable longwear foundation. High definition finish, medium coverage, broad spectrum SPF 20 sunscreen, and this one is in fair ivory. I don't know, can you see? You probably can't see very well. It's so sunny today, it's so bright, and there's actually snow reflecting all the light too as well. Okay, this is the old one, their original one. This one says it has full coverage. I don't think this ever had full coverage, and I have a review on that if you want to take a look at that. I didn't think it lasted 25 hours at all, and again, I have oily skin is what usually messes up my foundation, excuse me. A little bit of a nose. Sorry y'all, sorry for being so professional. Anyway, so my oily skin breaks this down. So the patches of my skin that aren't oily, like my cheeks, mostly just my cheeks, the perfect circle right here, it stayed on okay, but all my oily areas were shiny, you know, within a couple of hours. I would say half the day I was pretty shiny. And so that it's like my face, I'm telling you, my skin just eats makeup. This one I've already actually tried, so this is not going to be like a first impression. I actually tried to film a first impression and it did not work out. Trying a new location is just not going to work for me at all. I'm going to have to film in my car, and I actually enjoy that better. I feel, I don't know, not as restricted because I'm all by myself in a little forest preserve, and I feel more comfortable, more casual about it. So so you can see the difference as far as shades. I am glad that they came out with some lighter shades. Rimmel, in my drugstores that I've seen, Rimmel doesn't have very light shades. They have from, I would say, they have light to medium for skin tones for their foundations that I've seen. Not fair, and I'm fair. So, but this one says fair ivory, so I was pretty happy to see that. And they had a bunch of shades actually. Like I didn't find this in Walmart. They didn't have it in any of my Walmarts. I did find this in Walgreens though. It was $7.99, which I think is still a really good price for a foundation, drugstore foundation, any foundation for that matter, is a pretty good price. Now this one says it's full coverage, but this one says it's medium coverage. I would consider this to be light coverage. I think fair-skinned girls, like if you want to cover stuff up, it's hard to do it and make it look nice if you have pigmentation on your skin. I don't know why. I think medium toned foundations cover more because I don't know, maybe it's that orange pigment that they put in, or that peachy pigment, or that yellow pigment that help to kind of color correct your skin. This one is very, it's really light, which I'm pretty, you know, impressed by. But it's I'm not sure. It's got a tiny bit orangey, but not very much. I don't know why it is that fair-skinned girls, it's like hard for us to cover up any pigmentation that we have on our face. So anyway, differences between these two. I was like, why is this so tall when I first opened it up? And I'll show you. It's got one of those crazy giant doe foot applicators. Now, when I first opened it, I wish you could have seen the first impression, because I was pretty silly about it. I was like, oh, look at that. Oh, I was not expecting that at all. So I was all excited about it for, I don't know why. It was pretty silly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one side with the sponge again and one side with the brush, and we'll just see what we've got. Again, I've already tried this, and I actually tried mixing the two of these foundations together, but I'm going to start with sponge side first. I mean, you can see how light this is. So I mixed the two of them together, and it was okay. I mean, I was hoping to get maybe a little bit more coverage and maybe a little bit darker of a shade so it wouldn't be so stark white, even though it's a pretty good match for my very pale, very fair skin. But again, it's very highly fragranced. That's that for one layer. I'll go ahead and put another layer on and see how this builds. It's really thin, and I wore this a couple of times, and I don't feel like it was cakey at all. I can't remember though. I wore it a couple times, but I don't wear makeup every day, and my brain does not really hold on to information very well these days, so I can't remember if it was better with a sponge or a brush. It doesn't feel as moisturizing as the other one, but the other one says it has comfort serum. This one is supposed to be breathable. That's supposed to be the big difference here, and also I think the shade range. And okay, so there's the sponge side. You can still see my dark circles, but I got some coverage out of it. Feels a teeny weeny bit tacky. Just the tiniest bit. Just the tiniest bit tacky. No transfer, doesn't transfer. Let's go ahead and do the other side with the brush and see what we got. Depending on your personal preferences, I think is gonna kind of depend whether or not you like the doe foot. I know some people get kind of weird about you know, touching your face with something and then putting it back in the jar. I don't really care about that because my skin is clean. I think I'm getting just a tad bit better coverage with the brush. One thing I do notice though is you have to kind of blend this out kind of quickly because it wants to set and stick where you put it. I don't know what it is about my skin, but it seems like I always have this bit around my mouth and it doesn't want to blend in and be covered properly like the rest of my face. But I feel like, you know, this is kind of deceiving because of this shade that I have right here, it makes this look darker. This is more true to life. So this is the kind of coverage that we're gonna get for these under eye circles. But this also means that like if you're inside a building where there's a lot of shade and it's obviously not direct sunlight, this is probably how it's gonna look on the inside of a building. So that's something to think about if you know, go to work or whatever. And I would put a concealer on anyway if I was doing my makeup, like for real. So yeah, it looks really nice on the skin. I think it looks pretty natural, but again, because my skin is so fair, it's almost like it's hard to cover up any discoloration that I have because it just looks like you are trying to cover up some discoloration. It doesn't look natural. I mean, it doesn't look really crazy unnatural, but you can just tell that you're wearing makeup. But anybody that wears makeup, people can probably just tell you're wearing makeup anyway, even if it's like the most natural looking makeup ever. I would consider this a pretty natural finish. It's not shiny, but it's not quite matte. It's more matte, I think, than this one. So if you're looking for something a bit more dewy and you have like just either light to medium skin tone, this is good. But if you want something that's a bit more matte, this one's good. This one lasted on me pretty well. Again, $7.99. And the fragrance, like I can smell it. You can't smell it all day, but you can smell it like when you first put it on. So that's that. Yeah, I think I got better coverage on this side because I feel like if I put another layer on this side, it's not going to be even. So I think the brush is the way to go if you want more coverage. And then it might, you know, maybe if you want to like just smooth it out with a sponge. Like that. It's not the most amazing foundation I've ever seen. I have other ones that are favorites, and for different reasons. The Dermacol obviously is my favorite for coverage, and and it's just a nice looking foundation all around. I can't remember, I think I mixed the Dermacol with this and it did give more coverage, made the shade just a touch darker, because that one is just a very touch darker than this. But I'm pretty impressed with the shade range, the light shade range. I don't know how dark it went. I want to say it didn't go that dark. I'm almost sure it's fair, this fair ivory down to like a medium skin tone. Nothing crazy dark. So that's that. I don't know if you can kind of see. It's a pretty good shade match. It's a pretty good shade match, which I'm pretty surprised about. Okay, and I'll put any, I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the day, and I have worn this before, so I'll put anything in the description box, anything else that I think of, or that I think might help with the review later on today, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.